So welcome to another episode of Magnetic Success. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I wanted to talk to you about a really, really important topic or subject, and it's all around your energy, your vibration. So this is really the magnetic force that is attracting everything into your life right now, like everything. And right now, even today, especially today, right now. Okay. So at the very end of this, I've got a gift to share with you, which I will share. So keep listening to the episode till the very end. But for the purpose of this episode, this is called How I Skyrocketed My Sales Using the Law of Vibration and Attraction. So most of you have heard my story about how I sort of got into this material, how I started learning and then decided to start teaching about the mindset and about law of attraction. But I want to take you back to this challenging time, the time that sort of started it all off for me, because I think there's so many powerful lessons in there when it comes to energy, when it comes to law of vibration, and when it comes to law of attraction. So as a reminder, and for anyone that doesn't know, I had separated at the time. I'd separated from my husband. I had moved away. I was living with my two children at the same time, so I'd become a single parent. Obviously, still had to have a house, but the family income had halved, so there was already a financial sort of concern there. I didn't have a pension either, so I was keen to find a way to set up some financial security for me and the girls anyway. So I was really, really wanting to create more security and also just wanting to create another income stream. So I started exploring ways to make money, basically. And I fell into a whole world of personal development, of ways to make money. I've got things that I just didn't even know were out here. You know, I was living in my own little bubble in the town that I'd always lived in. And although I had my own business with a business partner and we'd been creating life on our terms anyway, like we didn't know how far we could get. We didn't know that there was more. We just thought we had lucked in and we'd got the best that we could get, right? That was the whole mentality. So when I started diving into ways to make money, I dove into personal development. So then quite a long time trying and testing different things. And a lot of the things I tried didn't work. And everyone was telling me online, it's so easy to make money. It's easy to do this in 10K months just from doing this and, you know, sitting on your phone and all that other business, all the stuff we see all the time, right? And so I was trying him, and because it wasn't working for me, I started to think there was something wrong with me. I was getting frustrated. And some of the things I tried and I did work, like I did have a business, I had an Airbnb business, and it was making money and it was making profit. And all I needed to do was scale it. But I decided that it just really wasn't how I wanted to spend my time. I didn't enjoy it. So I was just getting more and more frustrated with this whole process. I started to tell myself that I couldn't make money, like it was impossible for me to make money. I started to think there was something wrong with me. Like I'm seeing all these other people online making money. Like, what's so wrong with me? At this point, the business, I was still running the business with my business partner. We'd got it to a point where it was kind of running itself and it was doing really well. And it had been doing well for a few years and it was good. And it was giving us the lifestyle that we wanted. So, you know, but meanwhile, I was off trying to find all these ways, doing all these things, working hard to try and make something happen and not being able to make it happen. So it really started affecting my belief in myself, my ability to make money online or at all, right? It started me questioning my own self-worth, just telling myself I wasn't good enough, there's something wrong. All these stories were going on. So this was kind of the inner dialogue that had been going on. And this was going on for a fair while as well. And the longer I tried and the harder I tried, the worse these stories became in my mind. And I really started to believe them at a subconscious level, right? So I wasn't really aware. I wasn't aware of the inner dialogue, right? Because unless you learn to tap into your awareness, unless you actually become aware and you start listening to the thoughts that are going on in your head, like we're living on autopilot nearly all the time, aren't we? So we don't really know what we're telling ourselves on a daily basis. So I had no idea. I started getting into law of attraction. I started listening to Esther Hicks all the time. Things started popping into my life and it was really, really good, but it'd be sporadic. Like it wouldn't come and stay, or it'd happen in one area of my life and not in the other area of my life. I knew that I needed to feel good. I knew that I needed to think positively and focus on what I want, but I still wasn't aware of the subconscious dialogue that was just playing on repeat in my mind all of the time. So at the same time as me sort of going through this and telling myself these things, people around me, sort of in my close circle, started having massive financial difficulties and challenges. And they were becoming really, really hard. So I was having daily conversations around this and I was feeling into it. I'm an empath as well. So I was feeling it. I was feeling this lack. It started coming into me. I kept worrying about money and lack, worrying about the fact that I couldn't create this other income stream, that I couldn't create this pension, that I couldn't create security. I started, and at the time I wasn't getting any financial support for the girls either. So there was a kind of feeling of resentment and, it's not fair. And I kind of felt like I was being taken advantage of a little bit. There were all these thoughts, all these stories, all these emotions sort of bubbling away beneath the surface in my everyday life. So I started feeling like, I didn't have that I didn't have enough. There was never going to be enough. Nothing was ever going to happen to change this. Like I just couldn't do it. I was feeling like that. So I'd also purchased an investment property as well as a way of building a property portfolio. But again, it all came at the same time, and we got to the point of signing contracts. Then the mortgage company wouldn't lend on it. So the money that I'd had as a house deposit, because we'd sold our family home, ready to buy another home with the girls. So the money that I had for that just got tied up in this property and I couldn't release it. So again, there was another feeling of my money's like gone and it's been taken and it's being held and I can't have it and it's taken away from me. All these thoughts were going. I felt stuck. Like I knew it'd be a year before I could get a mortgage lender to then lend on it because I'd had to buy it in cash in the end. So then there was just all these feelings, all these things going on about the lack, the scarcity, how, like things were getting worse. And so this was affecting how I was feeling as well. There was anxiety, there was fear, there was doubt, all of these things creeping in, and these just built up month after month after month. So then it started to feel like, things were falling apart. And then all of a sudden our business just took a nosedive in sales. Now it felt to me like it was out of nowhere. It felt like that it was out of nowhere. It just happened like overnight. And obviously looking back on it now and sharing this story with you, I can see exactly how it happened. It makes perfect sense that it happened. It was the vibration that I was in. It was what I was sending out with my thoughts, with my energy, with my focus. I was creating this. This was becoming my reality. I was basically looking at all these things that I didn't like out there that were kind of worrying me, causing anxiety. And then I was just observing them into existence. I was just making them bigger through my focus. So our sales started dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And after a few months of dropping, we realized we had to do something very, very different. And this is where I had that sort of breakthrough moment where I decided that I'd tried so many things for so long, trying to make the income outside of this business. And now this business was being affected. I understood that there was something in me that was creating it, but I didn't understand enough. I hadn't gone deep enough in law of attraction and manifestation and mindset work to understand how or why. I just knew that I had to change something in me. And that's when I went deep into this work and started doing course upon course upon course and really, really learning. And so that is exactly what happened. I made that year I remember at the beginning of the year, I made that year the commitment that was going to be my mindset year, my year of just dedicating everything to going inside, because all the action, all the things I'd done outside of me, all the trying, the forcing, the hustling, the trying so hard had not worked. It had got me to an even worse state. So that was the year. And that is when everything started to change for me. This is where I learned that it wasn't just what I was thinking, it was actually so much in my subconscious mind. So there was so much going on in my subconscious mind that was pushing, it was sending out to the universe, sending out through the energy, through my feelings, through my emotions, and then drawing back from that stance, right? Like these deep rooted beliefs that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't do this, that it was really, really hard to make money outside of this business. The business, I'd had this business for several years, so it didn't even occur to me that that would be hard. But for some reason, I had this story that I couldn't do it outside that business. And then it just had that impact on everything that I was doing. And it's the lack, the scarcity, the need, the looking around at everybody. I was basically observing other people's challenges with finances, and then I was internalizing them, and then I was worrying about them, and then I was holding them in, and then I was projecting that back out, which was then being reflected back to me through my circumstances, my conditions, everything that was going on in my life. Right? Can you see how this happens? Now, the law of attraction obviously is the law that decrees that like attracts like. So I have two magnets here randomly. So, we are a magnetic force for things that are similar to us. So if we're the same, we're going to be drawn to each other, right? If you can hear that tapping on the podcast, that is the magnets clinking together, right? So we are always going to attract what we're in resonance with. Like attracts like. So for me to attract that level of lack, the problems, and they compounded one after the other, after the other, after the other. They kept coming. For me to attract that, I had to be sending that out. Yeah. That's how I was attracting it back into me. And the law of vibration is the law that decrees that everything's moving. Everything in this universe is energy. So everything is moving all the time at different rates of vibration, different frequencies. So what determines what we are attracting is the vibration that it's on. So if I wanted abundance and happiness and joy and love, I need to be vibrating at a high frequency to be able to bring that in, to be an energetic match, so that I would draw abundance into my life, because that's what I was sending out, right? But I wasn't. I was sending out lack, scarcity, fear, panic, worry, doubt. These are the things I was sending back. So what was I getting back? I can't do this. Here's proof that you can't do this. I can't make money outside of this business. Here's proof that you can't make money outside of this business. My beliefs were creating my reality. Our beliefs always create our reality. But what we think we believe isn't usually the case. It's what we believe at a subconscious level, right? But unless we do the work to find out what that is, we can't ever change it. We don't even know that it's happening. So we end up manifesting by default and manifesting what we don't want. So for me to change all of this, like I said, I had to really start looking at and being careful about what I was sending out. What am I thinking? What are the thoughts I'm thinking? What's the energy I'm sending out? What are the emotions that I'm feeling? Like, what am I a match for right now, a vibrational match for right now? How does any of this resonate with you, especially when I'm talking about things feeling, coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of scarcity or fear, and then attracting more things like that? And it just kind of feels like you're stuck. It kind of feels like it doesn't matter what you do. It all seems so real, and you kind of get stuck in that point of like, but this keeps happening to me, right? This keeps happening to me. It's happening to me over and over and over again. So it must be true. And it's so hard for us to make that shift to, I'm creating this over and over and over again, because it feels so real in the moment, and it feels like nothing we're doing, but it's because of what's going on inside of us. It's because our outside world is just a reflection of our internal dialogue, our internal world, our internal, emotions and vibration. Can you think of a time when this has happened with you? Can you think of a time, maybe even now, where if you're sending out similar vibes, are you getting unexpected bills coming through? Suddenly your car needs fixing. Suddenly there's a leak in the roof. Suddenly there's this. Suddenly all these unexpected bills keep coming in. And it's because they are a match to whatever we have going on vibrationally. So the law of vibration is such a powerful law, and it's so, so important that we understand it, so that we can shift our conditions, so that we can change our circumstances. So as I said, I started getting really, really careful about what I was thinking, feeling. I started deliberately focusing on where I wanted to be instead of where I was. At this time, we set a goal. I had a business partner. We set a goal to hit £1 million worth of sales in 12 months. We wanted a 7-figure year, right? Which was way above what we'd done before. And at this point, we were just rapidly declining in sales every month. So it felt completely impossible, but we did it, and we stuck to it. And we made the decision that was going to be it. And then what we had to do was we had to change. We had to become the versions of us that had achieved these goals, right? We had to become the equivalent. We had to become an energetic match to these goals, this goal, in order for us to bring it into our reality, in order for us to manifest it. So this happened on various different levels. You know, I talked about this conscious. We had to understand that. We had to understand the law of vibration and attraction. We had to choose and decide what that next level version of us was, so that we could then start embodying it and acting that way. So then the thoughts, the frequencies, the emotions, the energy, the action we were taking, all of this then changed to, we raised it to the frequency of our goal. So we raised it to the vibration. If we were already in this place right now, how would we be thinking, acting, and feeling? What would we be doing? You know, some of the things we did, we started celebrating the abundance and the sales before they even came in, even though our sales were declining and they were so low and it was scary. We had celebration parties for the sales that we had, right? Which took courage, because it was worrying, and we didn't, you know, we have that fear that if we celebrate what we have when it's not what we want, we'll never have more. We'll never attract more. It's almost like we're saying to the universe, that's enough, I don't need any more. But it's not true. When we celebrate what we have, we're given more. So we started doing things like this, and we tracked our money, we tracked our sales every single day. We tracked the sales that were coming in, and we celebrated them. And whatever you focus on expands, right? So what happened with the sales, with our celebration, with our gratitude, with our tracking? They increased, and they continued to increase. And the more we changed inside, the more we became an energetic match to our goals, the more the sales increased, until they were doubling and then tripling they were. So we literally tripled our sales goals, and we were hitting sort of under 90K months, right? And it was just mid-year. It wasn't even Christmas. And Christmas, we were retail, so Christmas was the biggest time for us. And we had, you know, by, I think it was June or July, we had hit about 87K month, which was higher than the last quarter, you know, that last quarter of the last year, because our sales have been just plummeting. So it changed so much, just tapping into this energy, tapping into this frequency, understanding that we are conscious creators. We are creating our reality based on what's going on in our minds, based on what's going on in our body, based on what we are sending out every single day, right? So this is why it's so important. I just wanted to share this story with you to remind you, this stuff is real. It's really, really happening. We're drawing into us all the time. So if you, like I did, if you're having problems, if you're having lack, if you're having struggles with money in your business or sales, or you're just someone that wants to reach the next level in your business, but you are so focused on where you are, you need to tap into that next level vibration. It's about raising a frequency and becoming an energetic match to what it is that you're actually asking for, what you want. Otherwise, it's always going to be up here and you're always going to be operating down here, right? We need to close that gap. And we do that by becoming an energetic match. Now, I have talked to you about some of the ways I did this. I've only really skimmed the surface though. So I'm actually going to go a lot deeper than this in my upcoming masterclass. So it's called Becoming the Match, and it's on Tuesday the 10th of January at 2 p.m. GMT. So I think by the time this episode has gone live on the podcast, it's actually going to be going live that day. So if you're listening to this on the day the podcast launches, I will drop the link in the show notes, and you'll be able to sign up for it and watch it. There will be a replay available for a week after. So if you're listening to this podcast within that week, then again, you'll be able to watch it, the masterclass, before it expires, but it will expire after a week. So if the link doesn't work in the show notes, it's because it's already expired. Okay. So in the masterclass, I'm going to share with you, we're going to go even deeper on this. We're going to unravel this and unpick this so that I can show you how to become an energetic match to your 2023 goals, so that you can actually manifest them this year, instead of having another year of thinking, oh, I didn't hit it, I didn't make it, I didn't get it. You know, this year I want you to manifest your goals and manifest them faster, with less resistance and more flow. So what I'll be covering is how to shift from accidental manifestation to conscious creation. I'm going to cover the 3 levels you need to tap into to change your frequency and raise your vibration, okay? How the concept of time is slowing down or even blocking your success. And the number one thing we have to let go of immediately if we want to experience the magic, if we want to allow room for the universe to co-create with us. Yeah. So if that sounds like something that you want to dive even deeper into to make this your best year yet, then you'll have to register. It's not being streamed in the group. So you'll need to register with the link that I give you, and you can come along and attend that masterclass. If you can't join me live, you can watch it on the replay for up to a week after. So the replay will be down by the 17th of January. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope that it's resonated with you. Hopefully I'll see you in the masterclass. I'll catch you in the next episode otherwise. So thanks very much for tuning in.